This is the second part of the PowerPoint lecture for Riverside High School Lifespan Development. This is the stuff I was going to cover today in class, but we were not able to meet, so we'll do this. I emailed to you guys also in this same email, not just the link to this YouTube video lecture, but also a packet that I had copied to give you guys, but I just couldn't get there to give it to you today. So my advice would be to print off that packet or have it available, and you can kind of take notes on it, because there'll just be some spots to kind of fill in some blanks, if you will. So that would be my advice. But anyway, so now we're moving on to the middle part of Chapter 10, Physical Development and Health. The learning objectives: in what respects are young adults at their physical peak? How healthy are young adults in general? How do smoking, drinking, alcohol, and nutrition affect the health of young adults? And also, how does the health of young adults differ as a function of SES or socioeconomic status, gender, and ethnicity? So, height is at its tallest during adulthood. Physical strength, coordination, and dexterity in both sexes peaks in the late 20s and in the early 30s. And most of the five traditional senses remain pretty much on target. They remain acute through middle age or old age. Hearing does begin to decline in the late 20s, especially for high-pitched tones. 94% of young American adults say their health is good. Death in the early 20s is relatively rare. Accidents, probably in this age group, especially late teens, early 20s, accidents are the leading cause of death, not degenerative or chronic diseases. Gender and ethnic-related death likelihoods: young adult men are 2.5 times higher than women, 2 to 2.5 times higher for African and Latino American than for European American men. So we see some gender and some ethnic-related differences in terms of death. Death is 2 times higher for European American than other Asian or Pacific Islander American men. So we know that men die, death rates are higher for men than women. We could talk about cultural reasons for that as well, and how we construct gender stereotypes, how men are socialized to take risks, to engage in more dangerous behaviors. This could account for that to some extent. Smoking. Nicotine is obviously a known strong teratogen. It's the leading contributor to health problems in smokers. And I just kind of thought this image was kind of funny. That's a lot of cigarettes to smoke at one time. Quitting smoking is usually beneficial regardless of how or when it happens, whether it's cold turkey, whether it's slowly over time, at a young age. Even people who have smoked for 30, 40 years who quit, there's still some benefits to that, obviously. Non-smokers are also at high risk for diseases. Over 40% of non-smokers are exposed to secondhand smoke. And you've got some charts and some graphs, some tables that you'll see in these PowerPoints, especially this one, that you can kind of stop and pause, look at. You might even use your phones to snap some pictures of some of these. That would be not a bad idea. That's what I would do if I were taking notes on this, just so I could have them. I wouldn't have to go back through the video again and try to find them for later use. But you see 1999, 2000, and 2001, some information about tobacco use. I would keep that slide handy for future reference. Also, cigarette smoking rates among young adults. And what we see, we've broken this down several ways. Hispanic females, 20% of Hispanic females roughly smoke. About 33% of Hispanic males. Black females, it's about 21, 22%. Black males, it's about 32%. White females, it's 35, 36%. For white males, 42%. American Indian females, it's like 46%, and half of all American Indian males smoke cigarettes. And we're talking about within the young adult range specifically. That's another one I wouldn't, I would maybe take a picture of with your phone. That way you can kind of have it handy. Smoking and smokeless tobacco are initiated and established primarily during adolescence. Nearly 9 out of 10 smokers started smoking by the age of 18. It generally starts pretty early. 99% started by the age of 26. Every day in the U.S., more than 3,200 people younger than the age of 18 smoke their first cigarette. And it's estimated that 21,000 youth and young adults who have been occasional smokers become daily users of nicotine. They become daily smokers. If smoking persists at this rate among youth in this country, 5.6 million of today's Americans younger than 18 years of age are projected to die prematurely from a smoking-related illness. This represents about 1 in every 13 Americans aged 17 or younger who are alive today. So that puts it into some perspective. In 2012, 6.7% of middle school and 23.3% of high school students currently use tobacco products. And it includes cigarettes, cigars, etc., etc. You can kind of read down the list. Current cigarette smoking among middle school and high school youth declined between 2000 and 2011. From 2011 to 2012, electronic cigarette use has doubled among middle and high school students. Kind of skip through some of this. You can kind of read through these as well. Concurrent use, that means using different products at the same time. Concurrent use of multiple tobacco products is also common. High school students who report using tobacco, of that group, about 1/3 of the females and 1/2 of the males report using more than one tobacco product in the past 30 days. So maybe snuff and cigarettes, for example. We've already talked a little bit about alcohol in this class, I realize, and here's some more information specific to this age group. Occasional drinking while not driving is not known to seriously impair health. Less than or equal to 2 glasses of wine or beer per day are actually beneficial. I've heard doctors, I have friends who are doctors who actually suggest that people have a glass of wine every day. It's actually proven to be somewhat beneficial. Now, you don't want to drink a bottle of wine every day, or you go through a 24-pack of beer every day. That could create some problems. 25 to 40% reduction of cardiovascular disease or stroke compared to heavy drinkers or abstainers. So drinking in moderation, dare I say, and research supports, actually quite beneficial. Heavy or binge drinking is very costly to health. It hampers productivity. It promotes victimization, like on college campuses, such as assaults or rape. And there's an image of someone doing I guess that's called a keg stand, right? When they hold you upside down and you drink like that. There's more images of binge drinking. Binge drinking, we're talking about equal to or more than 5 for men, equal to or more than 4 for women in a row within 2 weeks. Binge drinking is a major international health concern, especially among college students. It's a real epidemic on college campuses. Students are likeliest to binge drink when the alcohol is readily available, if it's easy to get, and it's right there. Also, students are likeliest to binge drink when they have positive attitudes about drinking. They think it will help their social status. It's gonna, they may feel that their friends approve of such behavior, or they may feel it's normal. Everybody does it. One or more of these is present. Doing other drugs in the past 30 days, also being a male, being a fraternity or sorority member, being European American, and middle or higher socioeconomic status. So all of these factors positively correlate with binge drinking. Again, this is one you might take a picture of with your phone. I won't read it off to you, but it goes from 1991, the year I graduated high school, all the way to 2012 in terms of college students who reported binge drinking. So we've kind of seen the overall trend here. Overall the trend is decreasing, but it's still a problem. As you can see, some years were very problematic. So that would be one you might just maybe pick with your phone. A little bit more on alcohol. Social norms programs appear to be effective. Programs that focus on changing the drinking culture in college. Some colleges actually, though they would never admit it, but they actually invite and encourage this environment. There is a major institution of higher learning that exists within our state that, and I've seen it firsthand, actually will informally promote the idea of drinking on campus. A lot of colleges sort of do that. So we're trying to change this. A lot of colleges are trying to change this culture, reducing the belief that everybody is drinking or that drinking is acceptable. Not everybody on college campuses drinks or binge drinks. Some do, but not everybody. Publicizing the true rate of drinking on campus, which is actually a lot lower than most students believe. And also the secondhand drinking effects, such as non-drinkers being insulted or assaulted. So it's not just the impact of being intoxicated or inebriated, but there's some other secondhand effects that go along with being intoxicated and drinking alcohol as well. Alcoholism is an addiction. It involves physical dependence or a physiological dependence on alcohol, and withdrawal symptoms when not drinking. Casual consumption can lead to abuse, can lead to binge drinking, and it can lead to full-blown alcohol addiction on college campuses, which creates a host of other problems. Excessive long-term drinking affects the brain. There are important brain chemicals, neurotransmitters, that become dangerously depleted or increased. It also causes alcohol cravings, meant to reduce negative or increase positive feelings. And treating alcoholism is tough. It's very long-term, and it's very challenging. There's often relapse. There are often other mitigating circumstances that can affect the effectiveness of treatment for alcoholism. So here's another one you might take a picture of. Percentage of students reporting problems: frequent binge drinking, infrequent binge drinking, and non-binge drinking. You can kind of read, hangovers, missing class, arguments with friends, having unprotected sex, etc. So I would have that. And we'll go ahead and call that the end of this part 1. Thank you.